Hi everybody, Bob Iaccino, co-portfolio manager of the Stock Think Tank, along with Mike Arnold. I'm talking to you guys on Friday afternoon after what was an absolutely terrible week for the equities in general. You're looking at down in the range of 5 to 7% on the indices this week. We have about 87% of the companies that have reported earnings so far have actually beat, and they've beat by about 20.4%. The average beat during a typical earnings season, just so you know, is like 3 to 4%. And since earnings started, the Dow is down almost 8%. So earnings have done nothing for equities. Now, when you look at the overall view of things, obviously this week coming up is going to be probably the most volatile week of the year. We all remember what happened in 2016 with the election volatility, especially what happened with the futures overnight. We're going into an election on Tuesday. We talked quite a bit about what we thought was going to happen in the election on our Pure Exposure Growth Series show. You can check out the replay on YouTube if you want to go to the Pure Exposure Growth Series channel. But I have an opinion of what could happen, and we're positioned for that in the Stock Think Tank. Now, a lot of you got into that big lot stock, BIG, and I'm glad you did. Our entry price was about $52.50. It's down in the high 40s right now. Part of the reason that we do trades the way we do are for moves and days like this. Big lots actually held up really well on the first couple of days of the selling, and then sold off a little bit yesterday when the equities were up, and then sold off again today. But what you see what happens in these kinds of moves is that things that are working get sold last, right? Things that hold up get sold last. So we've got our stop way down in that 42 range. I think it's 42.45 or so. And if the market closes below that, we will get out of it. And it won't bother me if we have a losing trade, because one of the things I've learned over the years is that the outcome of a trade, whether it's a profit or a loss, doesn't make it a good or a bad trade. What makes it a good or a bad trade is being strict about a process. So we'd like to give our trades room when the volatility is increased. That's why we've got over a $10 stop sort of space between the entry and the stop on that big lot stock. We've also got just as much of that to the upside. We've got about $1.45 or so in potential profit on this trade. So risk reward is good. It's the right trade to be in. We feel confident that things are going to stabilize from a perspective of this stock. But if they don't, it's okay. We get out of it and we look for the next opportunity. You have to be in stocks right now. That's the problem with the markets. And that's not going to change as long as central banks are involved. So looking at what's happened with really good earnings reports and the Dow down 8%, there's obviously other factors. The pandemic, the election, the weakness in Europe, and some of the other factors and some of the other unknowns. Some might be known after Tuesday, some may not. So we will see what happens, but in the meantime, we're going to continue to look out for the trades that we think have a strong probability of working. We're not going to do anything irresponsible, but what we will do is we will talk to you next week. Thanks for being a member of the Stock Think Tank. Again, reach out if you have any questions. I'm going to go light this thing up now, not because it's been such a successful week, but just because it's been a hard one. Talk to you guys next week.